If I pick up a book or an ebook and see an author's name on it, I assume that that person wrote the entire book. Now, sure, they may have used an editor. Hopefully someone has proofread it and maybe the publisher suggested changes, but fundamentally, I've got every right to believe that the words came from the person whose name is printed on the cover. But it's 2026 and the world is going crazy over AI. So maybe that expectation just isn't realistic anymore. Welcome to the Weekly Spark, where each week I chat about something meaningful from the world of tech, books, media, and the wider digital space. Now, the question of whether the named author actually wrote the book isn't actually hypothetical. The Wall Street Journal recently looked at the growing number of books being produced with AI and how difficult it is to know how much was actually written by the person named on the cover. If I buy a book with somebody's name on the front, I want to trust that they actually wrote it. And I've been thinking about this quite a lot recently because I use AI myself and I'm finding it's creeping more and more into my creative process, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I use it when I'm putting videos together here and over at my other channel, The Spark, link in the description by the way. Now, I might ask ChatGPT to help generate an outline and then I'll write the script and use it to check for flow. For me, AI is closer to an editor or proofreader than a writer. I might even ask it, based on the video transcript that I've come out with, to generate a description or a few titles so I can A/B test them. Might even ask it for a thumbnail suggestion or clean up the one that I've already created. Ultimately though, the thoughts and opinions are mine. I write the script and I decide what comes out of my big gob. I wouldn't be comfortable at all asking AI to write the whole thing and reading it as though it were mine. And if I was writing a book, I certainly wouldn't want AI generating an entire chapter and then claiming that I'd written it. Amazon, believe it or not, makes almost exactly this distinction. If you're publishing through Kindle Direct Publishing, Amazon separates AI into two categories: AI generated and AI assisted. If a tool creates the actual text, Amazon calls it AI generated, even after substantial editing. If you write the text and use AI to refine it, check it for errors or brainstorm further ideas, well, that's AI assisted. Amazon doesn't require authors to disclose AI assisted use. It does require publishers to tell Amazon about AI generated content, but that doesn't mean shoppers see an AI label on the book's product page. The buyer might still have no idea who wrote the words. So how do you prove who wrote something? Well, AI detection software might sound like the answer, but it isn't all that it's cracked up to be. Back in 2023, Ars Technica fed part of the United States Constitution into GPT-0 and 0GPT. GPT-0 said it was likely written entirely by AI. 0GPT also classed parts of it as AI generated. Now, unless the people who wrote the US Constitution had access to ChatGPT about 235 years before the rest of us, we've got a bit of a problem. They also tried passages from the Bible too. A passage from Genesis was flagged by 0GPT as 88.2% AI generated. Yeah, I think we can be reasonably confident that Moses wasn't sitting there with Claude open in another tab. There's a more recent example too. In May this year, the Authors Guild, that's America's oldest and largest professional organisation for published writers, tested 5 detectors using 10 articles published before generative AI was widely available. One detector called all 10 mostly AI written, including 2 at 100%. Intriguingly, other detectors call the very same articles entirely human written. That doesn't mean every AI detector is useless, but a score clearly shouldn't be treated as conclusive proof. If AI can't reliably identify AI written text, you haven't got much of a hope of spotting it because an author used an M dash or shock horror the word delve. An M dash is punctuation, not a confession, and delve, last time I checked, is still in the dictionary. This all concerns me because I could write something myself, I could use AI to proofread it, accept a few good suggestions, and then just have a detector decide that AI wrote all of it. And an example of this recently is that Anthropic is now adding an invisible watermark to text generated by Claude. To be fair, Anthropic itself says that the mark only shows that the text might have been processed by Claude. It doesn't prove that Claude wrote the whole thing. However, if I give Claude something I've written and ask it to fix a few spelling mistakes or repeated words, the resulting text could still carry that mark. And if somebody then treats that as proof that AI wrote the whole thing, how is that fair? The Authors Guild has tried to help by introducing human authored certification, a badge saying a human wrote the book. The text must be human written, although it allows a very small amount of AI modification through things like spelling and grammar checking. But where exactly is the line? If I wrote 80,000 words and AI spots my spelling mistakes, surely I wrote the book. But what if I give AI the plot and ask it to write a chapter? What if I then rewrite half of that chapter? What if I rewrite 90%? At what point does it become mine? I don't know, and I'm not sure anybody has a particularly good answer yet. This may surprise you. I don't necessarily object to an AI generated book. If it was clearly labelled, genuinely excellent and something I enjoyed reading, I don't think I'd have a problem with that. What I would object to is being misled. If I bought a novel because someone's name was on the front, then discovered they'd asked AI to write it, yeah, I'd feel cheated. And the type of book matters too. With a reference book, I mainly need accurate facts and information, so I'm less bothered about a connection with whoever constructed the sentences. But a memoir? Well, that's completely different. If I'm reading someone's autobiography, surely part of what I'm buying is access to that person's recollections, thoughts and voice. Imagine discovering halfway through a memoir that most of those deeply personal passages had actually been generated by AI. At that point, what exactly am I reading? Maybe that Authors Guild badge isn't such a bad idea after all. Here's the thing. I just made a video questioning how much AI involvement is acceptable in something carrying a human author's name, while using AI to help me make the video. I don't think the important question is whether AI was involved. That ship has sailed. The question is, what did the human, me, actually contribute? Was AI a tool? Or was AI the author? I'd genuinely like to know where you draw the line. In a book, if somebody comes up with the characters, story and plot, but AI writes the words, would you still call them the author? Let me know in the comments. Just don't shoot the messenger. Okay, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can buy me a digital coffee. The link is on the screen here, or you'll find it in the description. Thanks for watching or listening. I'm Mark from the Weekly Spark, and I'll see you in the next one.